I, 32M, never thought I would be writing this, but here I am. This happened last week and I am still processing everything. Writing this on a throwaway account since Bianca reads Reddit. It's going to be a long post since there's a lot of history to cover. I grew up in a middle-class family in Ohio with my older brother Harry, 35M. We were extremely close despite the age gap. When other kids bullied me for my stutter in elementary school, Harry would always stand up for me. He helped me overcome my speech issues by practicing with me every day after school. By high school, my stutter was completely gone, thanks to him. He was more than a brother, he was my best friend, role model, and protector. Our parents always favored Harry. He was the star athlete, got better grades, and was more outgoing. But I never resented this because Harry never made me feel less important. He always included me in his friend group and helped me build confidence. After college, we even started working at the same tech company, though in different departments. We had lunch together every day and went to the gym 3 times a week. Life was perfect. 3 years ago Harry met Bianca, 33F, at a company party. She worked in HR at our competitor's office. From their first meeting, something felt off about her, but I couldn't put my finger on it. She was overly flirtatious with everyone, especially men, and seemed to enjoy creating drama between people. At our office Christmas party, she got drunk and started dancing provocatively with Harry's coworkers while he was getting drinks. When I tried telling Harry, he said I was being judgmental and that she was just being friendly. My girlfriend Katie, 31F, noticed Bianca's behavior too. At Harry and Bianca's engagement party, Bianca kept making suggestive comments about the male waitstaff right in front of Harry. Katie overheard her telling her friends that one waiter had a nice butt and she wouldn't mind getting his number. When Katie told me, I confronted Bianca privately. She laughed it off, saying she was just joking and that I was being too serious. I told Harry, but he was so infatuated he brushed it off. The real problem started about 6 months after their wedding. Bianca began showing up at my house unannounced when Katie wasn't home. The first time she claimed she was in the area and wanted to return a book she borrowed from Katie. The second time she said she needed to use the bathroom urgently while shopping nearby. Each time she would try to prolong her stay by making small talk and sitting uncomfortably close to me on the couch. I started feeling uneasy about these visits and told Katie everything. We agreed I should never be alone with Bianca. I always made excuses when she showed up, saying I was heading out or on a work call. This seemed to annoy her, but I didn't care. I also installed a Ring doorbell camera on Katie's suggestion. The incident that changed everything happened 3 months ago. Bianca showed up at my house crying around 7 p.m., saying she and Harry had a huge fight and she needed someone to talk to. Against my better judgment, I let her wait in the living room while I called Harry. She kept trying to sit next to me on the couch, touching my arm while talking about her marriage problems. When I moved to another chair, she followed and sat on the armrest, putting her hand on my shoulder. I immediately stood up and moved away, telling her to wait for Harry. Harry arrived 30 minutes later and Bianca's entire demeanor changed. She was suddenly cheerful like nothing had happened. I pulled Harry aside later that week and told him about Bianca's inappropriate behavior. He got defensive and said I was trying to cause problems in his marriage. Bianca started telling people at their church group that I was flirting with her and making her uncomfortable. I confronted her in front of Harry, but she turned on the waterworks and played victim. Harry believed her, but I could tell he was getting suspicious of our interactions. Last week everything exploded. Bianca told Harry that during that night she came over crying. I tried to sexually assault her. She claimed I forced myself on her and tried to kiss her, and she only escaped because she heard Harry's car pulling up. This was completely false. My Ring camera recorded the entire interaction, but I hadn't thought to save the footage since nothing happened. Harry showed up at my house in a rage at 6 a.m. Katie had just left for her morning yoga class. Before I could even explain, Harry punched me in the face and kept hitting me. I had to defend myself, and in the struggle his shoulder got dislocated. Our parents rushed over after Katie came home and called them. To my absolute shock, they immediately sided with Harry and Bianca without even hearing my side. My mom said I must have done something to provoke Bianca. Why else would she make such serious accusations? Dad said he always knew my closeness with Harry was fake and I was jealous of his marriage. Katie and I decided this was the final straw. I had recently received a job offer in Colorado with better pay. When we told my parents about moving, they called me a coward for running away instead of admitting my mistakes. Mom said I was breaking up the family. Harry threatened to finish what he started if I ever contacted them or Bianca again. So we moved 2 weeks later and went completely no contact with my family. I spent months wondering if I should have handled things differently, saved the camera footage, or tried harder to prove my innocence. Katie helped me realize I did nothing wrong and that my family showed their true colors by believing baseless accusations without evidence. We got married last year in a small ceremony with just her family and our close friends. Life has been peaceful without the constant drama and stress of walking on eggshells around Bianca. Writing this is bringing back a lot of painful memories, but I needed to get it off my chest. I still miss the brother I grew up with, but that person is gone now. Katie says Harry's actions revealed who he truly was, someone who would believe the worst about his brother without proof and resort to violence instead of communication. I'm done living in the past and focusing on building a life with people who trust and support me. I wasn't going to post about this, but recent events forced me to share. More updates may follow depending on how things unfold. Thanks for reading this far. Update 1 first, I want to thank everyone for their supportive comments and DMs on my original post. Many of you shared similar experiences with toxic family members and it helped me feel less alone. A lot has happened in the past 2 weeks that I need to share. The day after I posted, I received a Facebook message from Mike, 34M, Harry's best friend since high school. Mike and I were never particularly close but always friendly at family gatherings. He said he'd been feeling guilty about staying silent and wanted to tell me some things about Bianca. According to Mike, last year Bianca started showing up at his house unannounced too. His wife Jane was often away on business trips, and Bianca would come by claiming she needed to discuss surprise party plans for Harry. She would get touchy and make suggestive comments. Mike kept making excuses to avoid being alone with her. Then Bianca started telling Harry that Mike was pursuing her, sending her inappropriate texts, and trying to get her alone. Mike showed Harry his phone proving no such texts existed, but Bianca claimed he must have deleted them. This created huge tension between Harry and Mike, who had been best friends for 20 years. They had been groomsmen at each other's weddings. Mike didn't want to cause more drama, so he gradually distanced himself from them both. He told me at least 3 other men in their friend group had similar experiences with Bianca, but everyone stayed quiet to keep the peace. The most shocking part was the screenshots Mike shared. Bianca had created a private Instagram account where she complained about Harry constantly. She called him controlling and boring, said she regretted marrying him, and talked about meeting other men. In one post she bragged about flirting with her gym trainer and said Harry was too stupid to notice. Mike's wife found this account by accident when Bianca forgot to switch to her main account while commenting on Jane's photos. I thanked Mike for telling me but said I didn't want to get involved anymore. My priority was protecting my peace and building a new life with Katie. Mike understood but said he couldn't stay silent after hearing what Bianca accused me of. He also warned me that Bianca had been asking mutual friends for my new address in Colorado. Just when I thought things couldn't get more twisted, Katie's sister Lisa called yesterday. Bianca had somehow found Lisa on Instagram and sent her a long message trying to warn her about me. She claimed I had a history of making women uncomfortable and that Katie should be careful. She even suggested that Katie should get tested for STDs because I probably cheated on her. Lisa, being the amazing sister-in-law she is, immediately shut Bianca down and blocked her. She sent me screenshots of everything. This was the last straw. After discussing with Katie, we decided to take legal action. We hired a lawyer who specializes in harassment and defamation cases. Katie had documented everything from the beginning, screenshots of Bianca's unannounced visits on our Ring camera, dates and times of every incident, and Bianca's messages to Lisa. The lawyer said we have a strong case for harassment and defamation if Bianca continues trying to contact us or spread lies. The lawyer sent Bianca a formal cease and desist letter yesterday. Within hours, my parents called. Mom was hysterical, saying I was being cruel by threatening legal action against family. She said Harry has been depressed since our fight and Bianca is stressed about the whole situation. Dad got on the phone and said I was acting like a spoiled child who didn't get his way. I finally lost my temper. I told them they lost all right to ask anything of me the day they chose to believe lies without evidence. I reminded them how they stood there watching while their eldest son assaulted their youngest without even asking for my side of the story. Mom started crying about how families should forgive each other and that Bianca probably misunderstood something I did. I hung up and blocked both their numbers. Katie suggested I also block them on social media, but I'm keeping minimal access just to stay informed in case Bianca escalates her behavior. Our lawyer advised documenting everything. We also warned our employers about possible harassment since Bianca has a history of contacting people's workplaces. Some of you asked in comments if I miss my family. Honestly, I miss who I thought they were. I miss the brother who helped me overcome my stutter. I miss the parents who I thought would always have my back. But these past weeks have shown me that those people never really existed. They were just masks worn by people who would throw me under the bus at the first opportunity. Katie and I are focusing on our new life in Colorado. We're looking at houses and planning to start a family soon. I have weekly dinner with Katie's family who have been incredibly supportive through all this. Her dad even offered to help with legal fees if needed, but we declined. I'll update again if anything significant happens. Thank you all again for the support and advice. Special thanks to those who shared resources about dealing with narcissistic family members. The reading materials have been eye-opening. Update 2: I debated whether to post another update, but recent events have completely turned everything upside down. Quick recap. My sil Bianca falsely accused me of assault, my brother Harry attacked me, family sided with them, and we went no contact after moving to Colorado. 2 weeks ago, Mike messaged me on Facebook asking if we could talk. He revealed that Bianca had been having an affair with Richard, 55M, her father's longtime friend who is married with 3 adult children and grandkids. Harry discovered everything after Bianca accidentally left her phone unlocked while showering. There were hundreds of explicit messages and photos between her and Richard going back 6 months. According to Mike, Harry confronted Bianca with the evidence. She tried gaslighting him, saying the messages were just friendly banter. When that didn't work, she blamed Harry for being emotionally unavailable and claimed she felt lonely because he worked long hours. Harry didn't buy it because the messages showed she initiated the affair, regularly meeting Richard at hotels during her supposed yoga classes. What happened next still makes me sick. Harry completely lost control and physically attacked Bianca. Their next-door neighbor heard screaming and glass breaking around midnight. When Bianca tried running out the front door, Harry grabbed her and slammed her into a wall. The neighbor called police after seeing this through their window. By the time police arrived, Bianca had broken ribs, a concussion, and multiple bruises. Harry was arrested on aggravated assault charges. His lawyer advised him to take a plea deal since there were witnesses and Bianca's injuries were severe. Meanwhile, Richard's wife found out about everything and went nuclear. She posted screenshots of Bianca's messages on Facebook where Bianca bragged about manipulating Harry and called him an idiot for never suspecting anything. She wrote about how exciting it was sleeping with an older successful man while her dumb husband paid all her bills. Bianca tried damage control by deleting her social media, but screenshots had already spread through their entire social circle. Several women came forward saying Bianca had tried seducing their husbands too. Even her own father cut contact after discovering she had been sleeping with his friend of 30 years. Yesterday, my parents called from a new number since I had blocked their old ones. They were crying and apologizing for not believing me about Bianca. Mom said she should have known something was wrong when Bianca kept changing her story about what happened at my house. Dad admitted they favored Harry blindly and failed me as parents. Then came the real reason for their call: they need help with Harry's legal fees. The house they remortgaged for Harry's wedding is already underwater, and their retirement savings are drained from supporting Harry and Bianca's lifestyle. They asked if I could loan them $25,000 for a better lawyer since Harry's public defender wants him to take the plea deal. The conversation brought up complicated feelings. Part of me remembers the brother who protected me growing up, who spent hours helping me overcome my stutter. That Harry would never have believed such horrible lies about me or attacked me without proof. But I also remember how quickly he turned violent, both with me and Bianca. Regardless of her betrayal, his response showed dangerous anger issues. Katie thinks we should maintain firm boundaries. She pointed out that my parents only apologized after discovering Bianca's true nature, not because they realized how badly they hurt me. She's worried they'll drag us back into drama just when we've built a peaceful life. I haven't given them an answer yet. The vindictive part of me wants to refuse like they refused to hear my side. But the part that remembers my childhood with Harry feels guilty. He was always there for me growing up, yet I'm considering abandoning him at his lowest point. Mike keeps me updated on the situation. Bianca moved in with a cousin in Nevada and is playing victim on social media, conveniently leaving out her affair. Richard's wife filed for divorce and their adult children refuse to speak to him. Harry is being held without bail due to flight risk. My parents are still pressuring me for an answer about the money. They say Harry was just protecting his wife like any husband would, and now he needs his brother's help. But Katie made a good point: I would never attack someone without evidence, and she would never falsely accuse someone of assault. Writing this out has helped clarify my thoughts. I'll post another update once I make a decision about helping Harry. Thank you all for your continued support and advice. Update 3: This will be my final update. After weeks of deliberation and many discussions with Katie, I made my decision about helping Harry. I know some of you will disagree, but I've chosen not to help with his legal expenses. While I understand Harry was manipulated and betrayed by Bianca, his violent responses to both situations revealed a dangerous pattern. He assaulted me without evidence based on Bianca's lies, and then nearly killed her over her affair. Yes, Bianca is a manipulative person who destroyed lives, but Harry's violence could have ended in tragedy both times. I wrote Harry a letter explaining my decision. I told him I still care about him as my brother, but his choices have consequences. I also expressed hope that he would get help for his anger issues during his sentence. He never responded, but Mike told me Harry cried while reading it in jail. My parents had to sell their SUV and take a second mortgage to pay for Harry's lawyer. He eventually accepted a plea deal, 18 months in prison with mandatory anger management counseling. Bianca tried testifying against him for a harsher sentence, but her credibility was destroyed when her affair and history of false accusations came to light. Bianca's life imploded spectacularly. Her affair partner Richard's wife exposed all her messages and photos to their entire community. Bianca lost her HR job after multiple people reported her history of workplace harassment. She tried playing victim on social media, posting about surviving domestic violence. But people kept commenting with evidence of her affairs and lies until she had to disable her accounts. Last I heard, she moved to Nevada and is working as a waitress. Mom still sends emotional messages about family loyalty. She says I'm punishing Harry for protecting his wife just like I would protect Katie. Dad calls me selfish for abandoning my brother during his darkest time. But as Katie pointed out, she would never falsely accuse someone of assault, and I would never physically attack someone without solid proof. The biggest update is that Katie is 3 months pregnant with our first child. This news reinforced our decision to maintain no contact with my family. I can't risk exposing my child to Harry's violent tendencies or my parents' toxic enabling behavior. Some might call this harsh, but protecting my own family's peace has to come first. Mike keeps me updated about Harry. Apparently prison is changing him and he's attending therapy seriously. My parents want me to visit him, saying he asks about me often. But I'm not ready and don't know if I'll ever be. The brother I knew died the day he chose violence over trust. Katie's family has been amazingly supportive. Her parents treated me like a son from day one and are excitedly preparing to be grandparents. We have weekly dinners with them and her siblings. This is what real family support feels like: no manipulation, no choosing sides, just unconditional love and respect. Looking back over these months since my first post, I've realized something important. Blood relation doesn't obligate you to endure toxic behavior or violence. Sometimes the healthiest choice is walking away from people who hurt you, even if they're family. Thank you all for following this journey and offering support and advice. Special thanks to those who shared similar stories. You helped me feel less alone in these difficult decisions. I won't be posting any more updates. It's time to close this chapter and focus on my growing family.